Welcome back to another video. We are so excited to be sharing in this one that basically what we've been talking about since we got this entire truck and camper setup has finally come to fruition. For those of you who are new here, basically what we're talking about are these storage opportunities that we just added to our truck camper setup. We've been talking about this for a while now. We've been going over CAD designs and ordering and all that kind of stuff, but finally they are in and they are installed. We did not film and talk about the install completely, so I want to really go over what our truck camper was like before, how we prepped it, how we installed it, and then also give you guys an opportunity to really check out what we added. So long story short is we have a 2019 F450. It's got a 9.5 foot flatbed, but it has a short bed truck camper on that. So basically we had this huge gap up in front of our truck camper, and everyone kept wondering what's going there, and it did look really odd. I mean, we are the owners of this truck and camper, and we felt it looked super odd and just incomplete. We worked with Stable Camper, which is a great company based out of Oregon. Jared and Candace Sun are the owners, and they helped us put together this beautiful masterpiece when it comes to like the boxes and all of that. So basically, this flatbed truck camper, or flatbed, had the truck camper on it, and on the front side of the flatbed was a headache rack. And so that was a huge thing that we needed to get taken care of. And so we were in Boise, Idaho for a little bit, if you've been following along, and our camper was almost glued to our flatbed, hypothetically, because we didn't have extensions long enough or wide enough to clear our rear tires. So we found a little fabrication shop, and he basically fabbed us up and made these extensions for our truck camper jacks. And after just listening to his expertise and how long he's been in the business, we were like, let's just call this guy Mr. Fabricator. We were like, hey, Mr. Fabricator, we have side boxes that we ordered and a garage box, and we need to install them, but we need to remove this headache rack first without having to remove the flatbed, because we have a really small gap between the front of the flatbed and the rear of our cab. And he looked at it, and as he was making the extensions, I was asking him, hey, you think you're gonna do it? And at the end of like the 15 minutes it took him to make the extensions, he was like, you know what? Can you come back on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m.? And I said, yes, sir. So we brought the truck camper by. We actually took the camper off and put it in the lot behind his shop, just so he could access everything easier without having to crawl between the flatbed and the truck or the headache rack and the truck camper. And within 2 hours, not only was the headache rack completely cut off and removed, and the process for that was using a 9-inch grinder to go from the sides all the way across the back, and then, or the front, and then down the other side. But not only was that done, he also helped us weld our flatbeds. So flatbeds in the US, I guess, kind of like general flatbeds, in my opinion, could be built really well, or just built to kind of get by. And I feel like that was the situation with our flatbed, because when we bought our truck, it came with this flatbed. We didn't specifically choose this one, but basically it was welded on all 4 corners, and then down the entire length of the flatbed, it was kind of glued, or at least that's what Mr. Fabricator said. He said they basically use like a metal glue and kind of just shove it on and maybe stick a weld in the middle of the entire flatbed. And so once we were adding these side boxes, we knew that we wanted to tie down our truck camper to D-rings that were attached to the bed. So in order to safely do that, we had to have him remove all the glue and weld the entire side of the bed, so the camper, the D-ring, had something sturdy to go into, which then would have the camper something sturdy to tie down to, because we do take our camper to a lot of places that, you know, if it's not securely fastened to our flatbed, that it would probably be an issue. So within 2 hours, he had that headache rack off, he had it welded all the way down the entire length of the flatbed, which is a super cool process to watch. I've never watched welding up close and personal. Even Ashley had the opportunity to throw on like a welding mask and get real close and watch, and it was super cool to see the process being done. And from there, he actually allowed us to stay in that back lot in our truck camper while we were adding, or going to pick up the boxes and then going to install them. And so this is where the fun part came in, because the headache rack was off, the bed was welded, and now we went to go pick up the boxes. It was only like 15-20 minute drive. We picked them up, drove back, and this guy, Mr. Fabricator, was so nice. He allowed us to park there, he allowed us to use his tools, and it just made the process that much easier, because he has, you know, some of the state-of-the-art, like, just tools that were meant for the job. I've got Ryobi stuff. I absolutely love my Ryobi stuff, but this was a little bit higher than a DIY job. But I did install the boxes myself. So Ashley and I picked them up, we brought them back, we lined up the front box, we measured twice, cut once, and we actually put that front garage box in the perfect positioning right in the center of the bed, and we were super stoked with how it looked because this is a plan that we were, have been planning for a while now. So once it finally came to fruition and that front box was on, it felt like half the job was done. And I feel like I was actually really seeing our camper setup come together. And so that took, between cutting the head rack, cutting the head rack off and doing the welding and picking up the boxes and throwing on that front box, it took around 4 hours. And I was like, you know what, tomorrow morning we're gonna load up this truck camper and it'll be another 4 hours, but I was fooled. It was another 8 hours the second day, because not only did we have to get the camper back on, which we absolutely hate taking off in the first place, but the side boxes, or the false wall side boxes, were perfectly fitting. And not only did we have to perfectly fit them, but one of us had to hold them while the other one was drilling, which obviously I was drilling, but with the door open, it's like a very long reach to drill, any type of pilot hole, because you have to, drill the hole first, do the aluminum, do the steel, and then put the nut, the washer, and all that kind of stuff. So that was a whole process in and of itself, and I can really go super in depth to the installation process, but this is really just a video to highlight this modification and showcase how excited we are and just our plans for the future for it. And these plans are very tentative because we have so much space now that we have no idea what we're going to do with it all. We have a pretty good idea, but it's not set in stone. So let's get closer to the truck. Let's show you these side boxes and give you a better idea of what exactly they look like and why we went with false wall boxes, why we still have an 820, because everyone, when we first got this truck camper, was like, why didn't you go to a 920? Well, we loved our living space. We just needed a little more outdoor storage. So we're stoked about it. Let me give you a tour. So we are super excited to show you first our false wall side boxes. We're just going to show you one. They're both literally identical. But basically what this is a box that has no back on it. This made total sense for us because we never take our camper off. And it also has created a lot more space for us and allowed us to tie down our truck camper inside the box. And so this box measures around 22 inches tall, 22 inches wide, and around deep, and around 74 inches long. But enough of me talking about it. Let me just show you what we're actually working with here. And so this is what we mean by false wall. There's no back. You can actually see the inside or backside or the bottom side of the camper, however you want to put it. And you can also see our bed. And so, like we mentioned, this creates a lot more space. You can fit a lot of odds and ends in here. There's nothing that needs to be a perfect shape in order to fit in here. And also, we have plans for one of the sides to at least make an outdoor kitchen. And so that'll be super cool, just maybe like a smoker that slides out or something. We have no idea. These are all tentative plans. And then the other side will probably be like our luggage and just miscellaneous items that we have. We do have a lot of gear that we travel with because we love hiking, backpacking, fishing, mountain biking, all the different things. And so in order to have all that gear, we had to do this upgrade. So it just makes sense. Let's talk about and show you guys the front box. This is our big and beautiful front garage box. It sits around 41 inches tall, 30 inches wide, and 80 inches that way long, I guess I'd put it. We went with the 41 inch height because it matches our truck, and so, or the cab of our truck. So if we were to ever take our camper off, it's not sitting super tall. I think there is a 47 inch option. We just love the quality of these. They're built out of aluminum. The handles are really nice. And what I really, really do love is the attention to detail that Stable Camper puts into their products. But check out these gas struts. Super controlled. It doesn't just fly open. It's like a nice soft open. And this box is just monstrous. Check it out. You can literally seat two people if you wanted to. Maybe one on top of the other, like a cot, and then maybe a hammock hanging or something. But there's so much space in here. I'm obviously just kidding. I would never do that, but it's not a bad option if you needed to bring like 2 more people along. We have really no idea what we're going to be doing with this space. We'd love to put a drawer in here that's like 60 inches long so we can slide it out. I think it's made by Moride, and slide it in just so you can access those items that are in the center without having to like climb in there. But I mean, this box is really big enough that if you had to climb in there and get something in the center, you're gonna have no problem doing that. We're just really excited with how this came out. It really completes the look of our truck. And for all of you who have been waiting for this, as well as us, thank you for sticking along, because now you get to see how beautiful it is. And I guess so do we. All in all, we are super excited with how our truck camper now sits. We obviously had a pretty good idea of what it was gonna look like just based on the CAD designs, and then using our imagination to picture these boxes on our truck But to see our truck camper setup around 95% complete is super exciting. We appreciate every single one of you guys who's been following along on our adventures as we traveled around in our incomplete truck camper setup. But honestly, I almost left, so we appreciate you sticking around. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about the boxes or our setup or have any feedback about them, make sure to comment down below or reach out to us on Instagram, however you'd like. And if you're new here or if you're not and you don't have your post notifications on, make sure to turn those on so you can stay up to date on our travels and our adventures and where we go. And also, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. We'd appreciate it. We'd love to have you on our online family. But until next time, see you next week.